If someone came to me today and said, Andrea, we're going to take away every rental property you've ever bought, but we're also going to give you all of your knowledge back, I honestly think I'd build my real estate portfolio completely differently. And before we get too far along, my first investments weren't mistakes. Every property taught me something. Every tenant taught me something. Every partnership taught me something. But experience has a funny way of changing what you optimize for. When I first started investing, I optimized for buying as many properties as I could. Today, I optimize for flexibility. I optimize for protecting my capital. I optimize for buying back my time. And one of the biggest changes has absolutely nothing to do with buying another rental property. I'll explain what I mean in a minute. But if you're new here, welcome. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a pharmacist turned real estate investor. On this channel, I share what I've learned building wealth through rental properties, creative finance, private money lending, and other real estate strategies while still working a full-time career. If that's the kind of investing you're interested in, real strategies that fit into a busy professional's life, I would love to have you here. Consider subscribing because I share a new video every week about real estate investing, passive income, and building financial freedom. All right, so let's jump into exactly how I'd build my portfolio if I was starting over today. Step one, I'd use creative finance whenever it could possibly make sense. The very first thing I'd do is change how I buy properties. When I got started, I thought the only path was pretty straightforward. Save for a down payment, go to the bank, get approved, buy a property, and repeat. This is probably a 20% down payment. That takes a lot of money, especially when you're buying your portfolio out west. And while there's nothing wrong with that approach, I now realize how much capital I was tying up every single time I was buying a rental. Today, I'd make creative finance my very first choice. Not because I couldn't qualify for a conventional loan, but because I want to preserve my cash and capital. Creative finance can include strategies like seller finance or subject to deals, which are also mirror wraps, where you're taking over an existing loan instead of getting a brand new mortgage. Not only do you get the advantage of getting into more deals, but you also keep your capital available. You also might get good interest rates because cash gives you options. It allows you to jump on opportunities, cover unexpected expenses, fund renovations, or invest in other deals. One of the biggest mindset shifts I've had is realizing that capital is one of your most valuable assets. And that might be pretty obvious, but I don't want all of mine locked up in down payments if I have another option. Step number two, I'd master one strategy first. This is probably the biggest mistake I see new investors make, and honestly, it's exactly what I did too. So not judging anyone else, but I wanted to try everything. Long-term rentals, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, co-living, wraps, house hacking, BRRRR strategy. Every new strategy sounded exciting, and I've tried every single one except for BRRRR. The problem is every investing strategy comes with its own systems, its own processes, management style, and learning curve. Trying to learn all of these businesses at once usually means you're not mastering a single one of them. If I were starting over today, I'd pick one strategy that fits my goals and become incredibly good at it before branching out. Depth usually breeds breadth in the beginning. Once you have systems in place and you've built confidence, expanding comes so much easier. Step three. Every property has to beat my private money lending returns. This might be the biggest shift in my investing philosophy. Today, every single property competes against another investment I could make with that same money, private money lending. Let's say I have $100,000 available. I could use that money as a down payment on another rental property, or I could lend it to another experienced real estate investor, earn 8 to 12% interest annualized, and let my money work without managing another property. So before I buy anything, I ask myself, is this property going to produce a significantly better return than what I could earn lending that same money? And not just financially. I also think about the time that's required from me, the stress, the maintenance, the tenant management, the opportunity cost. If the answer is no, I'd rather lend. That simple question has completely changed the way I evaluate properties. Step four, I'd optimize for freedom, not for door count. One thing social media has done really well is convince everyone that success is measured by how many doors you own. 20 doors, 50 doors, 100 doors. But after buying 10 properties, I realized something. Door count isn't the goal, at least not for me. I know it's a flex for plenty of investors out there, but freedom is my goal. More properties don't automatically mean more freedom. Sometimes they mean more maintenance, more headaches, more phone calls, more contractors, more decisions, things that I don't necessarily want. Today, every single investment has to answer one question. Will this give me more freedom or more work, because I'm not trying to build the biggest portfolio and take on a new second, third, fourth, 10th job. I'm trying to build a portfolio that supports the life that I actually want to live, which has a lot of traveling and fun and hiking involved. Step 5. Every deal needs multiple ways to win. Finally, I'd only buy properties that give me options. When I first started investing, I looked at one exit strategy. Would this make a good rental? Today, I ask a much different question. If the market changes, what else can I do? Can it work as a long-term rental? Could it become a co-living? Would it make sense as a midterm rental? Could I sell it? Could I sell or finance it later? The market changes. Interest rate changes. Regulations change. Having multiple exit strategies gives you flexibility when things don't go according to your plan. And I've learned that flexibility is incredibly valuable. Step 6, I build relationships before I built a portfolio. If there's one thing that accelerated my investing more than almost anything else, wasn't another property, it was a relationship. The opportunities I've had, from creative finance deals to private lending opportunities to partnerships, have almost always come through people. Not Zillow, not Redfin, but people. If I were starting over, I'd spend more time networking with investors, attending meetups, joining masterminds, and building relationships with people who are already doing exactly what I want to do. Opportunities tend to follow those relationships. Looking back, I don't actually wish I would have started earlier. I don't wish I had bought more properties. I don't even wish I had avoided every single mistake out there, because those experiences shape the investor I am today. What I do wish is that someone had told me that it's okay for your investing strategy to evolve. You don't have to pick one strategy today and stick with it forever. Your first investment isn't your forever strategy. It's your first classroom. Each deal teaches you something. Each season of life changes what you value. For me, that journey has gone from house hacking to rental properties to creative finance to private money lending and now to larger commercial opportunities. And I'm sure it will continue to evolve from here. That's the exciting part. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. It helps YouTube share this video with more people who are trying to get started in real estate investing. And if you're a busy professional who wants to build wealth through real estate without creating another full-time job, I'd love to have you as a part of this community. Subscribe, because every week I share practical investing strategies, lessons I've learned, and the real behind the scenes of building financial freedom while balancing a demanding career. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. If you are starting your investing journey today, what's one thing you do differently? Or if you're brand new, which strategy would you start with? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.